Larry, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Small meeting. And I don't even have any dreams. I'd have to go
Oh, that's
back several
okay.
weeks.
Well, I
It's
know,
like,
but
I think what it was is after my anima, rejected me for five
yes.
different other ones. I think that's it. It's time to stop dreaming.
Well, yeah, I've been taking vitamin B6 and melatonin to try to feed my dreams a little bit. I'm not like Charles and Ivan. And hi,
Yeah, right.
Carolyn. We're just about ready to start here. Um, we had Charles had a very interesting dream about a hamster that was in a aquarium and with no land masses. So I mean, and I thought it was interesting contrast because Charles and I are both, were poeres. So, or my dreams were always that I didn't have any ground. Hi, Kevin. How's it going? Poor Kevin had bad internet last time. I
Yeah,
didn't
sorry about
realize
that.
this. Yes. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about it. Well, anyway, hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hello. Did you, what do you want to start off with a dream or would you like somebody else to go?
No, I'd rather listen right now.
Yes,
I'm kind of not
sure.
quite
That's no
prepared.
problem. Well, that's okay. That's fine. We'll just get going. I know. How about Kevin or Charles? Do you have a dream that you want to start off with?
I always have one,
Okay.
but if Kevin would like to go, that's fine with me.
Yeah. You got one, Kevin?
That's fine. Charles can perhaps start. I just woke up, so if he starts,
Okay,
I will
sure.
be
Yeah.
happy.
Okay. Go ahead, Charles. Charles has always got a steady supply.
I have so many that I've actually been wanting to number them all and then get a random number generator so I can just go.
Yeah, go to them and yeah. I have about 3,000 that I've amplified. But go ahead.
This one was on the 16th, so I'm gonna go ahead and read that one because it was really interesting.
All right, sure.
I'm at my grandparents' house where I grew up as a child, and I'm with my sister, but she doesn't look like my sister at all. I marked it down as my sister Anima.
Your unknown sister.
Right.
Yeah.
We're with my grandmother, and we say to her that the house is haunted by the spirit of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
She knows this, but she does not wish to stir his spirit. My sister and I choose otherwise and begin communications with him.
Mm-hmm.
We are laying on the floor facing the front door of the house, and he begins to communicate with us through a series of animated images. It's colors and images of natures, animals, plants. It's very wild and sporadic, but it starts off with just two white doves. It's the very first image. And at one point there's some type of humanoid leaping through the air and landing on the back of animals and things. And my sister and I are very entertained and pleased by this. And after it was over, I'm with my sister and she goes to lay down to go to sleep, and I am supposed to lay with her, but I become kind of nervous and shocked because how am I supposed to lie down with this woman that's so incredibly beautiful? And that's when the dream ends.
Okay, well, that's good. Now I'm just Ivan's here. Just a second here. Okay, well, now again, I just kind of start out and just sort of try to get a sketch of it. You know what I notice about these dreams? I mean, they're struggles at first, but after we work on them a while and, there's a sort of a breakthrough. So here's the struggle aspect. Okay. You're at your grandmother's house or your grandparents' house where you, that they had while you were children.
Yeah.
They're,
And I mean, I
deceased.
did grow up there.
Yeah. Oh, you did grow up.
I
there.
grew up with them. Yeah.
So now are they deceased?
They are now, yes.
Yes. Okay. Is it your mother's parents or your father's parents?
Mother's parents.
Okay, it's your mother's parents. So it's the parents of the mother. So it would be kind of you're supposed to objectify these figures to begin with. I mean, there's sometimes they can be subjective dreams, but I think the fact that they're deceased. How many years have they been gone?
My grandfather died in like 2000 and
So-
my grandmother in 2006. So it's been a
So
while.
it's been a while. So anyway, they are sort of archetypal figures. Your mother's not your mother usually in a dream. It's the parents of the mother. So it's the parents of the maternal aspect of the archetypal feminine. So when you go back behind them, that's always something important. But now there's this very interesting twist. You're with the unknown sister. So this is definitely an anima. Although she's related to the maternal feminine, and she is supposedly related to you, she's an unknown sister. So she's a mysterious feminine presence who is related to you, but in an unknown way, So now you're with the grandmother, and you inform the grandmother that the house is haunted by the grandfather. So the grandfather, so now he is the second male figure in the dream. There is the old wise female, the old wise woman, really. I mean, you have to say this is the old wise woman. She's the mother of the maternal aspect, and you're with the unknown sister. So you got the wise old woman, and who's a special kind of wisdom because she represents a very earthy wisdom, not a spiritual wisdom. It's a more of a soul wisdom. We're learning that has to do with the soul, and you're with the anima, who is the soul. And so now the grandfather comes in here. So he's the husband of the wise old woman, and yet he is not in this world. So he is a apparition type of presence. He's not present in the sense that you three are. So he's sort of an unconscious aspect, a little more unconscious than the other two and yourself. Okay. Now you mentioned to the grandmother that the house is haunted by the spirit of your grandfather. You and the anima know this, and she knows it too, but she doesn't want to say anything because she doesn't want to disturb his spirit. Hi, Ivan, too. I'm just saying hi. But anyway, so that is the setup here. Okay, now you are, even though the grandmother is saying that this aspect of the this male aspect of the wise old man is sort of present but not present, and she doesn't want to acknowledge his presence because she's afraid it would disturb him. But then you and the anima try to contact him. Now he contacts you through animated images. Okay, so animated images are are uh, so he is a true um, uh, truly related to the maternal aspect, because the maternal aspect is the realm of images. The realm of spirit is not the realm of images yet. Very interesting. He has the colors, the animals, and the plants, and then comes up with two white doves. Well, now here is his spiritual aspect that he brings in, the two white doves. So that's his spiritual. But then you have humans leaping through the air and landing on the backs of animals spectacularly. You know, I had a dream about this too one time, where these incredible leapers, you know, that can jump over things and land on things. And so, what would it mean to have someone who can, um, who is incredible at at a sort of an acrobatic leaping, you know, and what is the purpose of that? Not sure yet. Okay, so anyway, then now after this, we first have the explanation of the setting. Then you have the contact with the unconscious male aspect of the mother, the great mother, and then he is sort of the master of images. He's sort of the someone who is an image manipulator. So he's sort of related to the dream maker a little bit. You know, in my active imaginations, I was always try to go find the dream maker. So he is very related to the dream maker. He's very related to the unconscious, because the unconscious is where the images, the feminine unconscious, which is the anima and the eros, is where the images come from. I've never heard anyone say they come from the whiteness of logos. You know, the whiteness of logos is us right now. We are trying to take the images and we are trying to break them up into parts and differentiate them. That's what we're doing. So we are we are adding spirit to soul. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, and so he's more related to the soul aspect. Okay, so anyway, you beheld the images. It seems the culminating two moments are the two white doves and the leaping humans. You know, and there's three aspects, and then there's the one of colors, animals, and plants. So that's the three descriptions. Then after that, you're both very pleased and want to go to sleep. So it seems as if you and the anima were very entertained by these images, and then you want to you feel the need now, as yourself when you go to sleep, is to enter the realm of the unconscious. So you're going to go to sleep. So now she invites you to lie down with her, but there's two problems. One is she's the unknown sister, and the other one is she possesses too much um, uh, too much feminine energy to I mean, her attraction is too great to sleep with her normally. So if you do that, you know that that is not just going to sleep. That's another act, another type of action, and so that is makes you hesitate. So her invitation, even though she might think that the fact that she possesses this power of irresistible attraction, even though she might doesn't seem to be flaunting it or anything, but that magic that she possesses, this feminine magic, which awakens your anima projection in her to such a feverish pitch that you don't feel that you can deal with her normally. It makes it impossible for you just to lie down with her and go to sleep. So that's kind of the description of the dream. And I would say, let me just try to quickly summarize it, that you're in the realm of the maternal feminine. That's to begin with. And you're in the realm of the great mother with the anima. Then it is brought in that the creator of images in the realm of the great mother is the spirit of the great mother. You know, now I dream about the woodpecker woman, and her spirits are birds who never leave rooted things. So she has spirit, yet her spirit is of the feminine. And I think this wise old man is very much a servant to the maternal, and especially it's tipped off the fact that he is an image manipulator, because all images are feminine. I mean, come from the feminine. That's their source. Okay, and I think the mystery aspect in there is the white doves, because they represent a aspect of flight, an aspect of the air beings, and then the humans who are leaping also have an airiness about them that the feminine doesn't normally possess. So you know that the father, or the paternal or the masculine aspect here, is added some rudimentary logos to this maternal realm. Okay, that is put out there, that this masculine aspect is somewhat related to the creator of dreams. Then you guys are, you want to enter the realm of dreams, or at least the anima does. So she's taking the lead that now it's time for us to lie down and enter this realm as well. I mean, so they're really entering the realm of this, the specter of the grandfather. But you have to, you have great difficulties doing it, because you know you can't go there right now. The anima is the force to reckon with here, not the great mother, not the father, not the dream images. What is compelling here is the unknown sister. Okay, all right. Why don't Gary? What do you have to say about it?
Well, I think you're right about the anima, but okay, so the image of the human landing, leaping and landing on back of the animal, I'm kind of
Yes, very important.
fascinated by that,
Instincts.
Instinct. And so to me, I'm just going to say, I think that that's saying that, you have to follow that instinct. You have to make that leap, which looks like, is very uncomfortable. And I think he needs to lie down with the anima.
Every one of those things that Charles mentioned are very evocative of actions that need that are ones that have to do with soul making, colors, animals, plants, the white doves. Now they're the sort of the joker in that
Aren't
list.
they the symbol of love or something? I mean,
Well,
the white,
the-
aren't they
the-
like
the-
the marriage, marriage you release the doves?
Two white doves, yes. So
Yeah.
so there seems to be the implication that that's a male and a female dove.
Yeah.
That would be what I'd say. It's a couple dove. And then there, you brought up very interesting that the humans are leaping, but not just regular leaping. They're landing on the backs of animals. I don't know if you've ever seen those leapers of over the Minoan bulls. Have you ever seen these Minoan bulls and these early bullfighters in Cretan history, as they came forward and the bulls charging about ready to hit, they would leap over them and land on their backs or miss them completely. And people thought this was impossible, but no, they do it. So that is a very interesting thing. So there is some aspect there. There's two aspects. One is the evocative colors that have to do with nature, with both the rooted world and the world of the animal instincts. Then you
Also-
have go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, he's, in there, that with the anima, they're very entertained, they
Yes.
are together. And it's like there is
Yes.
this bond forming, and now it's time to go to sleep, and I'm like, well, there's that hesitation probably shouldn't be there, would be my guess, just
Yeah,
because of
and-
the other images.
And these images didn't come unbidden. The unknown sister and the dream ego invited these things. They invited this paternal aspect of the Great Mother to communicate with them. How did you put that, Charles? You kind of described what you guys ask?
Oh, well, we went to my grandmother and we were like, well, the house is haunted by Grandpa, right? She goes, oh, I know, but I don't wish to bother him or stir him. I go, oh, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So you are inviting these images, and these are the ones that come up. And I would say there's three aspects of them. One is the just the very important is the colors, colors, and the world and the realm of life. This realm of life is where we come from, and we're supposed to be the reflective mirror of this, what comes up. Then there is the white doves, which would usually represent something like a mediator, so it is the doves are acting as a middle realm between ego consciousness and this great plane of the archetypes and instincts, which is nature. So the doves are acting somewhat in the same role as the unknown sister. They are the bridge to the unconscious. Okay, and then the last image is a very mysterious one, and that is of the leaping humans who are landing on the backs of an instinctive character. So they are trying to relate to the archetypes, but it's through a leap. Okay, so that contacting the unconscious is always a quantum exercise, because the unconscious and ego consciousness are incommensurable. They don't really. The only way that you can get over there, is a quantum leap. That's been described as something that just happens. There's no explanation for it. But somehow the transcendent function operates, but it happens not through a slow building, but through suddenly it just takes on another state. So that is a very mysterious aspect, and I think it has to do with how we connect with the unconscious. Two methods. One is through the intermediary of the anima, who can be represented either by the unknown sister or the doves. The other one is the transcendent function, which I think is represented by the leap. Symbol creation is what it really is referring to. Individual symbol creation. So what he's showing here too, I think, is here's the dream material, nature. Here's the intermediary between us and the dream material, the doves. And then here is what happens, is individual symbol creation, which is represented by the leaping human beings who through this magical leaping connect with the archetypes and create the symbol. At that point, then suddenly this moves into the last phase, where you're going to some extent have a conjunctio with the anima, and yet there's a reluctance to do that because her magical power is too great right now for ego consciousness. It feels that it will be drowned in her, that she possesses too much power for the ego to handle. She has an irresistible attraction that the ego consciousness knows that it cannot deal with rationally. It's going to be overwhelmed. How about you, Kevin and Ivan? I've been going on, but I just did because I thought I had a epiphany. But go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I would be very thankful for this dream. If it was me, I would be very thankful for this dream. It would, for me, it would tell me, it would give me a lot of answer, I would say. Because like Craig said, you are in the realm of the great mother. And essentially you have an image of the collective unconscious. And it's telling you sort of what is happening at the root level. And it tells you about you are being literally haunted by images, which is essentially, you also say you have so much dreams.
It's called a haunting. And I think that Charles is slightly haunted at this stage. Not in a bad way, but it's a gift. But let's talk about it when we're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was thinking also this image shows, already Greg pointed it out, the Ouroboros dragon. It's sort of the psyche as a circumference, like it tells you the meeting of the infrared and the ultraviolet light in Jung's spectrum of because Jung likes the psyche into a spectrum, and you have the infrared, which is your instinct, and you have the purple, which is your archetypes, and here it meets. So it sort of gives you also an image of the birth of the images into the instinct by the two doves. I think the two dove could represent like it's a transcendental function, even Mercury, like the two aspects of Mercury, which is needed to bridge this gap between the infrared and the ultraviolet light. In terms of your anima, I don't know how to think about it, whether Gary is right. You should sleep with her and impregnate her, or any sense, make room for the images. But at the same time, there is also the ambivalence to it, because if you're still too fascinated with the feminine image, she can also drown you. And in the dream, you are quite in an intimate space. I think it's a good place to be. You know, you are not in a pool of some sort. You are in an intimate space where relationships should take place, sort of. So I think
Yeah.
that's sort of also.
Yeah. Being overwhelmed by the anima is not being related to her, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not an equal relatedness. So there's another aspect of there when her power is so great, this irresistible beauty, you know, that ego consciousness can't overcome, you know. And what really happens with irresistible beauty is that you can fall into you know, what Adam was talking about, which is not, it's not transformational. It is one that causes regression, and the regression is into animal lust, which is what Actaeon experienced with Artemis, you know, and that's why he was turned into a stag and eaten by his own hounds. You know, having a relationship with the anima is not to be just totally overcome by her. What about you, Ivan? What do you think of this?
I agree with what's been said, but I think, well, it's a really great dream.
Before we get into it, the greater it seems, yeah.
So the aspect of the grandfather, the fatherly figure, I think there's more to that, because I almost feel that there's a taunting aspect to it, that this thing, it's haunting, right? But it's also at rest, and
it's disturbed. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be disturbed. So I feel like there's an oppositional aspect to this that I'm as trying to think about. I'm not quite sure where to go with that, other than that's what I was thinking about.
Well, you know, just you two guys, Charles and Ivan, I think, you know, you both have a wonderful gift of rich, very deep dream images. But I just get the feeling that perhaps, even though they're so rich and everything, and there's too many of them, and we're not ready for them. I mean, it just seems like you're sitting on top of a volcano, you know, and you're even though each one is so beautiful, is it transformational? Is it going to be integrated into your life, or is it too early to do it, to do that at this point? You know, what do you think, Charles? I mean, you've mentioned before that are you a little over 30?
Yeah, I mean, I do struggle with integrating my dreams. A lot of times I don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I want to say about this dream,
They're
seems
great.
rather positive, which is not always the case. I feel like a lot of my dreams are getting me to do asking me to do some sort of work. There's something not right, something that's unresolved. You know, I have a lot of dreams where I'm angry or I'm running from something, or, you know, this is not the first dream that I've had at my grandparents' old house where it was haunted. I've had dozens of dreams where that house is haunted, and
It's a recurring dream.
yeah, and me getting hold of my grandfather doesn't always go well. There was one time where I went to the house to contact him, and I was just greeted by a burst of noise and blinding white light that just knocked me off of my feet. One of my thoughts in this dream is that it has an incredibly positive paternal quality to it. The father or grandfather in this is incredibly positive. Because I interpreted the doves as a sign of peace. That was how I interpreted it.
You mean at the time when you
Yeah.
when he
yeah.
actually died?
And I just think it's really interesting that he's an he's an animator in this. It's not just
And the
static
animation.
images. He's showing us images, but he's also bringing them to life right there through his spirit. And you know, I also don't have the most positive anima dreams either. I've had like my anima just kind of like giving me this look of just like, really? Really? Just
join the club.
very judgmental. And this is, it is almost trying to portray like an image of opportunity, almost, of like you have a chance for development, and everyone is willing, the father is willing to show you, and the anima is willing to be with you. Yeah, I find it really brings a lot of positivity to me thinking about this dream, and just an incredibly just good image of the paternal in this. I don't exactly know what to make of it. I'm kind of sick right now and I don't have a lot of energy. So trying to process this is a little difficult.
I would say the grandfather has a mana. He's a mana figure. I mean, he's he is someone in your life, even though I don't think this is your subjective grandfather, but that paternal aspect here is one of great animation. Great. It has a triggering aspect in your unconscious when it comes up. When it comes up, your unconscious is triggered, and boom, the images flow. So the paternal aspect of the great mother is a triggering aspect in your unconscious that releases a flood of images, and so that's very important. The thing is that is not to be revealed at this point is, and you've asked this question before, where is this leading? I'm not sure, but I would say that it is incredibly positive. The unconscious is having a great, is giving you great care and great attention with very rich, it is very concerned about relating to your ego consciousness. But at this point, it is, there's a lot of display, but there's not a lot of action yet. So, I mean, I think the only way that, in fact, I think your dreams would start to go down in frequency and stuff if you started to do very serious dialogue with these images. I think that's what kind of they're asking for, but they're very in a very urgent fashion, But now let me just mention that when I'm doing my own, I've been doing for maybe 2 or 3 years active imagination. So's Gary been doing it pretty heavily. It is very difficult for modern humans to develop the visionary sense to have a clarified, meaningful dialogue with the unconscious while you're awake in meditation. And I am getting there. How about you, Gary? I mean, I'm not. It's, but you know, I have things happen like the woodpecker woman. I suddenly find is blind. You know, I suddenly find that this woman that I've been dealing with, she's been a figure I met in dreams called Barbello. You know, who is a she was mentioned in the Gospel of Judas when he first meets Christ. He says, "I know you. You come from the immortal realm of Barbello." You know, and Barbello is in Gnostic tradition is the goddess of fourness, which is the feminine number. But how about you, Gary? What do you find? I'm just talking about the difficulty
Yeah,
of,
well, okay, I don't know how you do it.
developing
What
a visionary sense.
Yeah, well, I always, okay, so I have to meditate first because I've got to get kind of in this state. And then when I work on it, you know, it's still, I find it pretty tough because I always begin with this fear of projection, you know, and you just have to let things just go. And it's not easy, you know, so sometimes I find I have a lot of resistance to it, but then if I can get it going, it just seems to flow. But it's that initial start that's hard.
Well, I've developed the ability to, you know, as far as the felt sense, to to find paths and everything. I mean, sometimes they don't lead anywhere, you know, but I don't think that. Now, what I do is I go with it. So the ego is making a decision. I think it says this, and then I go with that, you know. So I am interacting with it. But the only reason I'm bringing this up is I think at some point, Charles, that you know, this rich gift you are given is asking a task of you, and I don't know whether now's the time, but
Yeah, I'm trying to hang on for a moment because, well, right now I live with family. I put a deposit down in an apartment that I'll be moving into in a month. But I have to deal with my little niece and nephew running around causing chaos all the time. So it's a little bit hard to just pick a time to meditate and go into that active imagination because I have to watch over them and stuff like that.
yeah, I'll tell you one thing I do is, you know, I do get up, I go someplace early in the morning, but I use earplugs. You know, I just put these earplugs.
Yeah, I would definitely.
No,
need
seriously, and I take them with me wherever I go, and so that kind of shuts out the noise, you know. But anyway, I would say this is right now, these are I'm so glad that you're preserving these because they're incredibly beautiful. I mean, we could go through every one of these, and I mean, I think Jung could do a seminar on some of these dreams. Yours too, Ivan. I mean, they are just incredible. Ivan, do you have a dream this time that you'd like to discuss?
I do have a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I had a quick question for Charles though. Would you actually
Yeah.
want less dreams?
No, I'm disappointed when I don't have a dream that I remember at night. I mean, it would be nice if it was like 1 or 2 a night, but there are some times in my journal that, I mean, it's like 6 or 7 dreams in one night sometimes, and it just gets a little ridiculous at some points. That hasn't happened in a while though. Last summer, I was having an incredible frequency of dreams, and it was I just couldn't go through them all.
I think there's a little bit of an explanation here too, I feel, of why you are getting all these dreams. I think it has to do with there is a figure in your unconscious who is the eternal aspect of the feminine. Now, to me, it's sort of like my woodpeckers related to the feminine. this is a very more instinctive spirit, but you have a more, within the Great Mother, there is a masculine logos helper, but he's not, he is allied with the Great Mother. Yet he possesses great power, a trigger in the unconscious for you. He's the one who animates the images. Now, in alchemy, the way you animate the images is you lend them the attention of ego. This is what you do in active imagination too. When what we do in active imagination is when we lend our attention to the images in an active imagination, we animate them, you know, and what we're doing is we're cooking them. We're providing heat, okay? And the ego attention is what the alchemical cooking is, you know? And so when you, and you can also do this through drawing the dreams, that is cooking them, you know? So we are animating the images when we draw them or lend our attention. Right now, what we're all doing here is we're cooking. We're doing, we are lending our ego attention to these images that did not come from the realm of human beings. These images came from the great ground where all life came from. And it has a relationship with the human, but it's not totally human, you know. Carolyn, did you have anything to say? You look like we got your attention.
Feeling kind of voyeuristic here because I just found this on Facebook, and I was interested to see what kind of dream work other people are doing.
Yes.
Feel like you don't know who I am, and I certainly don't know who you are.
Well,
And,
that's, yeah.
I've been involved in dream work for a number of years with various people like Jeremy Taylor and Robert Moss and a Jungian group that we did for quite a long time. And I'm just interested in your style of working. The way that I usually work is much slower and going deeper into each image in a feeling level. I'm really amazed at how many archetypal levels you're bringing to the surface. I really like that. And I don't want to feel like I don't want you to feel like you're being judged or anything. And I sort of feel like I jumped in on something that you guys have been doing for a long time. And I'm just appreciative of what you're doing. And thank you for allowing me, but I sort of feel out of place. So.
Oh, that's fine.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, you always feel out of place where you go, but I always go in there and tell everybody, just walk in like you own the place. You know?
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. But,
Yeah.
you know, I've done, one thing I did do, you know, is I worked for about 14, 15 years with a Jungian analyst.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I did about 14 or 15 years work with a Jungian analyst.
I see.
And all we did was dream work. I mean, you know, that was one thing I did do a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
but anyway, you know, and I'm sort of unusual too, that, you know, I think to me that the whole idea here in at least the dreams work I do is really to is individual symbol formation. I mean, that's what I'm most interested in, and that is the coming into being of the transcendent function and creating this third realm where the opposites can unite, you know, opposites unconscious and ego consciousness create the divine child or the philosopher's stone. through symbol creation, you know, and so I mean I'm doing it pretty much, at least that's my approach.
Are you
But,
a Jungian analyst or?
No, I'm unfortunately, you know, intuitives. I had a comparative religion background, but I mean, I think I could never really be an analyst because you know, this is horrible to say, but actually, it happened in Zurich. You know, the Jungians didn't have a lot of, this is what, I don't know if you ever heard of C.A. Meyer, but his wife said this. They didn't have a lot of sympathy for people bringing personal problems. You know, they said their role here is to, you know, create the philosopher's stone. I mean, that's what we're here for, you know, and it's not a personalistic psychology. It really is a return to alchemy, you know, and to you know, cooking the vessel and having the divine child come into being, you know. So I'm a little bit of a radical on that, you know. So
So you're
sometimes,
trying to work in that direction.
yes.
We read a book,
And
Jeffrey Raff. Jeffrey Raff, have you got
I've met Jeffrey Raff several times. I'm in pretty good I mean, his book, Alchemical Active Imagination, you know, is, and The Wedding of Sophia. And we just went through ally work, you know, for quite a while. And then the one, Healing the Wounded God. I don't know if you know Linda Vakatura, but I mean, she's,
No.
yeah, well, if you read that, if you could, you know, text me and something, I'll send you her book that she wrote with Jeffrey Raff. Jeffrey Raff right now has a little bit of a health problem. You know, I've been trying to get him to come on to our group, but you know, he says he's not going to do it anymore. He does have some kind of a nervous problem. Yeah, but
I see.
he's yeah, very involved in the site, and you know, all alchemy really is a is it really is a it's a, you know, a method. I mean, if you really look through all the emblems and stuff, of bringing into birth this third realm, which is really the realm of soul, and you know, you're redeeming it because it's trapped in the body. So we're acting as the redeemer. You know, we're the ones who bring soul up and make it manifest and conscious in ego awareness. So that's the whole idea of alchemy, is that you rescue these images that the grandfathers think, and you bring them into consciousness. You make them concrete and you make them real, you know, in the outer world. And so they are living in the outer world, and they really are alive, you know. You know, this is what Jung says, that, I mean, we're reading right now the book of Healing Fictions.
Oh, we are too. That's interesting.
Yeah, by James Hillman.
Gilman,
And just the second part, but the one about the world of the daemons, you know,
Oh, that's
awakening.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the daemons are the multiplicity of the realm of soul, which is the forgotten, the realm that was obliterated by the Council of Nicaea, and also by science, and also by you know, philosophy, and by theologians. There's God and man and nothing in between. Well, alchemy and the realm of the soul say differently. And you know, that's kind of the approach that think is the Jungian approach. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah, we've been going through
I
biography.
think that there's some justification for it. Well, Ivan, why don't you tell us one of your dreams here? The reason we go through these a little fast is because we try to do 2 or 3 dreams in 90 minutes. So
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that like we don't really ask too many questions because there's so many dreams.
yeah, well, I mean, we try to, but I think that it's very productive and very enriching. I mean, some of the dreams that we've had have been very beautiful. I mean, just absolutely lovely. You know.
Carolyn, I just want to ask you real quick, is so you say that you have an active group?
Yeah,
Is it open or closed?
it's closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, at this point, I've been considering doing an open group on the internet. Was one reason I was curious about to see how you were handling it and what you were doing.
Yeah, I also feel like this is, I don't know, but also Jungians has been very close. I feel like even with their materials and their work has always been very, I feel like close. And yeah, so I think it's opening enough now. So we'll see.
I'm curious about how you guys feel about having a stranger join your group. It looks like you know each other pretty well.
Well, no, not we always welcome more input. I mean, we've got people come and go all the time, so yeah,
I
it's
see.
no big.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been speaking with you guys since I believe since like October or last fall,
Yeah.
I believe. So yeah, I mean, and I'm just super open and liberal with. I'll share my dreams with anyone. Basically, I'm much too interested in dreams to not
Well,
just openly share them.
they're so fascinating. I mean, this is not the only dream that Charles has had. And Gary, we had a really good one from Gary the last couple of times. But Ivan, let's hear one of your fabulous dreams, because Ivan is quite a. His dreams have some of them have been so incredibly deep. But go ahead, Ivan.
Sure. So this is kind of a part of the set of reoccurring dreams. And in the reoccurring dreams, it's always I have like my normal house and family, but I remember that I have an apartment somewhere that I'm paying for.
Yeah, this is the unknown house. You're not the master in your own house. This happens. This is a recurring dream. Yeah.
So I remember I have an apartment, and I decided to go visit it. And so I see my brother, and he's talking to a beautiful woman, and her name's Selena. And I remember she had previously lived around the corner, but now she lives in the apartment above mine. And my brother's apartment is next door to mine. So I enter my apartment, and it's unfamiliar to me. It's clean, it's small, it's well organized, it's modern, and it's unfamiliar. I remember suddenly that I have this apartment for a side job that I have, but I never actually do, and I can't remember what the job actually is. I noticed there is a large fish tank filled with beautiful exotic tropical fish. I wonder how they manage to stay alive when I never visit. I watch them intently and look for a food source for the fish. I notice a desk with a computer. I open a drawer. It is filled with rudimentary drawings signed by Selena. I open the computer. It's like a Teams meeting. Teams is like a Zoom sort of application that I use at work. A Teams meeting immediately opens. Inside are a bunch of angry students who are waiting for an online professor who is 15 minutes late to class. I wonder if I am supposed to be the professor, but I see some people mentioning someone else's name. I remember, however, that my job was to be an online teacher, teaching a foreign language I have no business teaching. I have never actually tried to teach. I wonder why I pay for an apartment and if I've been scheduled to teach classes that I've abandoned for years. And that's when I wake up.
Yeah. Now, this is a very common dream. I mean, a very one that we all have. I have this dream all the time. Okay. Let's just go through it though. Go through all the aspects of it. Okay. Now, the aspect, and this is not the first time that you've had a dream of an apartment that's not really yours and that you're not really familiar with. Okay. Now, next to the apartment lives possibly the shadow, and above the apartment lives the anima. Now, I'm just saying that off the top of my head. It could be, I'm just going to say that to begin with. Maybe it won't be true. Okay. So the in an apartment house that you don't know. So this is know thyself, not know myself. I mean, the ego, to know thyself, realizes that thyself is not me. So the residence that my entity lives in is not owned by me. It's actually somewhat strange. This is something Jung discovered, when he would find wings of his house that he was unaware of, or he found a cellar that he had never been in before, and then it had a cellar below that, that went down into the depths. And the idea there is that we're not the master in our own house. So the ego needs to be aware that it is in service to something in our existence, and that life is not to be in service of the ego. The ego is to be in service to life, through. So anyway, this is kind of what this means, I believe. Not the master in your own house, an apartment you don't know about. Who's paying for it? Why am I paying for it? I have a job, or I have some courses that I'm supposed to take, but I don't even know where the classes are. I don't know what the curriculum is. I don't know what when the tests are. And yet it's creating this it's a great unknown. So there's a great task to be performed of which ego is unaware, but it still needs to be performed. Okay. Now, then you possibly is not being performed. Okay. And then you have the aspect of the fish tank. Okay. The fish tank is the unconscious depths, the watery depths, which have little entities in it, beautiful entities. Yet, what is their food source? Found in the unknown apartment is the depths of the unconscious that is filled with beautiful images, latent images. Yet what is its food source? Who's feeding them? It's not me. I've neglected this place for a long, long, long time. This is the idea of where I open the door of the basement and a dog walks up that I forgot about 20 years ago, and it's emaciated. So I'm not feeding the instincts. Who is? Who is feeding the instinctual life? Because it's certainly not me, and it's in an abode that I've been neglecting and not paying any attention to. Okay, then you find another evidence of a task to be performed that you're not performing, and that is a computer with a team session. And there are a lot of impatient entities in this world of the daemons, waiting for the directing aspect to appear. And it's late, and it hasn't been there. And then you sort of vaguely remember that you were going to teach a course that you knew nothing about. And am I the one? I'm not sure. And what's interesting too is you open up the drawer and there's a bunch of images there that were done by the bridge to the unconscious, the anima. She has left a bunch of images in that drawer. Selena, you know. So then now I wrote down the last part. There's it's a foreign language. Yeah. So this is a very typical dream. Now this dream to me, if I was to have it, is telling me that I'm not, and it's a recurring dream. These are dreams that recur all the time with me, you know. And what they are saying is, you need to start taking an active part in this work. It's all set up for you. There's the abode, there's the daemons waiting, the anima lives slightly above you. You know, in other words, you're a little regressive. She's a little more advanced. The shadow lives next to you, and he's now the brother's in a relationship with the anima, right? Or not? With Selena?
It was unclear, but he knew her. They
Yes.
were friendly.
Yeah. Well, that usually means that we neither know the shadow or the anima very well, and so then they actually have a relationship without us, you know. So the ego's just oblivious, you know, of the shadow and the anima, and so they don't have anything to do except spend time with each other, you know. And so so let's just kind of quickly review it, and then let's get some comments. The aspect here is that there is a is the main thing that's mentioned first is the unknown apartment, the unknown, and it's very well. You mentioned, now you before had one, I think, that wasn't so very well taken care of. Remember the one where your swing set appeared and it was the only thing that was in there that was familiar in that set? And now this one seems to be very well taken care of. So the unconscious is very well prepared for you. And yet it's waiting for you. The world of the daemons are in the teams meeting. And they're sitting there waiting for you, and they're not very patient. This is taking too long. And what they want is some interaction, I think, from us. You know, they want us to participate here, and we're not participating. And the anima has got a lot of images here. This is a typical dream saying that how old are you, Ivan? I just asked.
I'm 35.
35. Okay, well, you're at the age of Dante when he entered the perilous wood. You know, I think today the midpoint of life is more like 40, 45, but it used to be 35. But that is the point where you know, I think in those times you get married at 20, or you know, even earlier, and your children would be because you know, would go off on their own at 16 or so, something like that. So it was considered an age where your family might be a little bit older. But the idea here is you, and both you and Charles are very blessed. I would give anything to have you guys' dreams. There's just unbelievably deep. But the unconscious, I believe, is asking us in this dream to be more participatory, you know. And I think the idea here, the only thing you can do is to dialogue. This is the aspect of what they are asking for. They want us now. this is why I mentioned, alchemy. I think this is alchemy, and this task of alchemy is the very task that's mentioned in this stream. Is that what our task is to do is to lend attention to the images, which are just laying there like unopened letters, waiting for ego to lend its attention. I had the dream of the big garbage sack that the soul just keeps taking all these images that I'm ignoring and puts them in this sack that just keeps expanding and expanding. And yet you can see this this refuse that I'm just letting go. It's golden and it shines, So I think the aspect, if you want to respond to the dream in an ethical, a moral obligation. Let's say there's an ethical and a moral obligation being asked by the dream. It is that you must, on a daily basis, lend your attention to these images, in a serious way, probably at least a half hour a day, or a few days a week. I mean, that's what is asking. But Gary, what do you think?
Well, I'm quite impressed by your analysis, but I think that really one other thing I see in here that really lends itself to that is the teams meeting, waiting for
go ahead.
the professor, and and it's wondering where he is. I mean, does that sound like a call to, hey, come in and pay attention to us? We need
Yeah.
the dialogue, and then the beautiful fish tank. And yet it's like, wow, how is this even surviving? Who's feeding these, these subconscious beings, it's, and like, how are they surviving? So again, kind of the call to attention, and and the thing that had me a little bit puzzled was, I mean, is the brother the shadow here talking with, that he's talking with Selena? Because I mean, I'm not sure about this. It's like, what that means is that he's not paying attention to the anima, so his brother's an identical twin. So.
Well, there's nothing mentioned of him being a shadow-like figure.
Right.
I was just assuming that because he was the same gender, and usually it's either the wise old man or a shadow aspect if it's our same gender. And typically, my brothers are always shadow figures in my dreams. But and I would say in any case, it's not the wise old man, but let me see here. Kevin is having a little issue to the internet here. There we go. So I like the idea of the idea that the whole scene seems very well organized and very well kept, but through no help of our own. And I think that describes Ivan's dreams. Ivan's dreams are very well organized, and they're very deep, and the depth of some of Ivan's dreams has been just incredible. And I'd say the same thing of Charles. But the one thing that makes me very envious of them is of both Charles and Ivan is how come you guys get these beautiful dreams, and what are you doing with them? Just say it. These are these are incredible gifts. I mean, I think later in life that you're going to see how beautiful they are. And you know, sometimes I had this thing where I would have these unbelievably beautiful dreams early when I was doing it. I've been doing this for at least 30 years, you know, 15 years with an analyst and about 15 years before myself, just recording, dialoguing with dreams. And my dreams in my early, when I was younger, were absolutely beautiful. And I don't often get those anymore. You know, I had one great dream, I think in like 1991, you know, that was just absolutely, it was like a fairy tale, you know, and I don't think I would ever have a dream like that today. So then I look back and these things, it seems like the unconscious is setting the groundwork. You know, all images have an aspect of the future in them. A real image of the unconscious always has within it the future. It contains within it the future. So I think there is an aspect here of it is thinking that both you, Ivan, and Charles are going to, it is trying to groom you as servants of this image realm, you know, and as in a great sense of urgency, you know. Now, that said, is now the time to are we ready for that task? And maybe we're not, because we still have a lot of ego obligations left. We have young children, we have a job, we have some aspects there. But I would say the one thing that we could do is just give 20, 30 minutes a day to it. And that would be, I think, what the dream is asking, but you know, whatever. What do you think, Charles?
I think it very clearly states that there is like that it's waiting for the inner work to be done. I think it very clearly states that, and that yeah, that everything is prepared and ready. The only thing that's they're just waiting on you, and yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a very clear message to me, and yeah, what Craig has been saying and all that.
It's and you know, it might not be the right time. I mean, I can imagine if I had, you know, 3 and 4-year-old kids, and I've got a job and I've got to, you know, raise the kids and everything. I'm not ready for it. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I feel yeah, Ivan has always, yeah, you have all these interesting dreams. I'm always surprised with perhaps of maybe just exception of one dream, but all of your dream has somewhat mentioning of a persona. You know, you mentioned cleanness, and also with clothes before, you are dressed well. And there was another one as well, which I cannot remember right now. But this is like a recurrent theme when you start sharing your dream. There is always this role of persona, and I also think like not living in your own house. You know, if it's just a house, then it probably refers to your ego. You know, you are not being true to yourself, or at least your ego. But I agree with Greg. I think this time is about, you know, you are not master of your own house. Essentially, as a psyche, you know, as a psyche, you are not master. But if you have recurring dream of your own apartment, and you are not owning your own apartment, is I would take it as a sign as I am not being true to my ego. You know, I'm not being true to my ego. But I think in this case, it was about your psyche. So in that sense, you are not master of your own house. But I don't know if you have any thoughts on what I mentioned about persona. If you know, I could be wrong.
Well, persona, I think, would be To me, usually persona means that, you know, you're either naked or you've got all kinds of shirts, or you need to change your shirt or something like that. The only aspect I see here of the I think this dream in this case is now, it's not beating up on you at all. I just am saying that that it isn't you know, it might not be the right time, but there is an aspect here that the unconscious considers you a very valuable asset. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here, and it is asking for you to be in service to it, and it
Yeah.
is, and I would say in your case, your unconscious is particularly well developed. I mean, it is, you know, it has everything very organized, and it seems to me like it's operating at the level that it would operate with, like, T.S. Eliot or, you know, William Butler Yeats or something. I mean, it seems like your unconscious belongs to a great poet or artist or something, you know, I mean, a really great one, you know, and I mean, it's just startling, I think, the how powerful your image realm is.
I don't know what to say, but thank you.
Yeah.
So in terms of persona, I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that. There are definitely recurring themes throughout most of these dreams. I agree with everything you said, and I haven't, no offense taken to it. What's been interesting for me actually is
It's not supposed to be.
I had about a 10-year stretch where I wasn't remembering any of my dreams at all. I just didn't remember. It wasn't until early this year that suddenly I started remembering almost all of my dreams really vividly. So it's, to me, it was unusual and interesting, and just something I started taking note of, because it kind of came a little bit out of nowhere.
I would say the treasure hard to attain, your aquarium too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, the one thing that struck me in the dream when I thought about it later was I thought that it was obvious to me that the anima was taking care of the apartment. That she was leaving these notes, these images
in the drawers, yeah,
to try to communicate with me, because I had been ignoring her essentially, and also that I had this feeling in the dream that she was the one that was taking care of this whole thing.
Yes, she's been in the apartment. She's probably the food source. She's been leaving images in the drawers. And you know, the aquarium with these magical fish in the aquarium are really the treasure hard to attain, is there. You know, I had the dream of where we were going to read the Red Book, but first it has to be immersed in water. And then we're going to read the true Red Book, you know. So there's aspect of the water, the depths of soul need to be infused in the images first. And you know, it's just it's when you see water, you know, like in active imagination, sometimes I'll just see you know, what Barbara Hannes calls the sudden deepening, you know, and this happened several times. There'll be a clear glass vase, and the most clear water is just being poured into it. That's the whole vision, but it's very vivid, you know. So yeah, go ahead.
Can I just add something? I was thinking if you said about for Ivan, I was thinking if what you said about anima always taking care of. I mean, if she's just taking care of some section of your psyche, I mean, that's fine, because you know she is a part of you. But I was thinking, if you take care of your apartment, then I would be somewhat more sensitive to that, because you know, I would rather have a dialectic relationship with the anima rather than her taking care of, you know, my ego in that sense, because essentially she is also an unconscious figure. You know, if you want to be fully conscious, she should be integrated as such, as, you know, true dialectic, you know, a conversation. And if you are always in apartment, I'm not thinking about big mansion or all of this different room, because that's, you know, essentially talking about your psyche. But if you have recurring dream of your apartment, and this is this anima always taking care of, then I would say I would be sensitive to that, to say, like, you know, how conscious am I? How unconscious am I? Yeah, I would be at least having a living relationship in her in that sense, to sort of bring back some of that energy towards your ego, at least your conscious function, the top functions.
And one of the really startling things in the dream is that the anima is seems to be a very powerful figure in the dream, and yet our relationship with her is almost non-existent. And yet she is doing a lot of interior work. She's maintaining this apartment that we hardly know about. She evidently is setting up the meetings with these other entities who are waiting for the leader, you know, the ego attention to show up. That's what those teams meeting are waiting for, is they're waiting for ego attention to show up. That's going to be that's the factor that they're waiting for. And the fact that she's also is making sure that the magical entities in the unconscious are rich and luxurious and being very well taken care of. You know, so even though we don't really have a relationship with the anima, she lives slightly above us, and she is doing an incredible amount of interior work. So I think she's patient, you know, and I think she realizes that you're not quite ready for her. But the thing is that this, I think, both you and Charles, that, you know, even though I'm envious of your dreams, I'm somewhat, you know, it is a great obligation that is being asked of us in these dreams, you know, and whether we respond or not, you know, is the question. But I don't really know if now is the time for either one of you to be able to respond to it. And yet, I mean, it's sort of like Jung's Liverpool dream. He wasn't ready for that either. But it's an image of the future. So I think that at some point, you know, I mean, you're the you know, there is a very rich soul life waiting for both of you. You know?
I could,
and yeah, go ahead.
I'm thinking of Charles about, I mean, Charles, I think it's you know, his grandfather, he seems to have a positive association to him, but he's also somewhat too autonomous right now. And by the fact that he has been sort of symbolized as a grandfather, perhaps is a step towards lessen this autonomy. I mean, they are autonomy by nature. As archetypes, they are autonomy, but you want to have a personified archetype where you can have a living relationship with them. And with Charles' dream, is still a haunted figure, even though it's a positive. So that's a positive direction, you know. It's
a little bit difficult to have a relationship with him because he's passed, he's departed. But
yes,
and yet he is the great activator. He's the great animator, you know, and that's because he's a trigger that unleashes images. You know, I mean, he's like the master shaman of image creation. you know, and so he's acting as a catalyst
Mm.
in the unconscious to let these out. Like I say, those are both absolutely beautiful dreams. And I think, darn it, this thing's going off. But anyway, I think I'm going to think about them more. But now, what do you guys think of just doing these on Mondays from now on? Is that okay, or is Mondays not work? What do
Works
you
for
guys
me.
think? Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a little, it's a nondescript day, you know, usually where Friday, you know, you might want to go out to eat sometimes and things like that. Who knows? But I just think, you know, I think, you know, I had this thing with Friday night, Saturday morning early with Stuart, and then this other thing, you know, boom, boom, boom. So, you know, if we could do it that way, and now, if you find out that like Tuesday, Wednesday are better or Thursday's better too, just tell me, because I'm open any day. But if we'll just
I
see,
can't
why don't
do
we just
Tuesdays, but I think Monday or even Wednesday would be cool. But I mean,
okay,
Monday
yeah.
works for me.
Yeah, okay, well, why don't we just do Mondays for now? But if you guys want to do Wednesdays too, that's okay. Either day is fine. But I think that'll be a little less, you know, I want to spend a little more time getting ready for the presentation of some of this stuff that we'll be doing on Sundays now. And because, you know, I feel I'm learning a ton. I don't know about you guys. And I'm also making a lot of progress, you know, and it's
Yeah.
from the dreams and from the readings and from the interactions. And I think some of the ideas that Jordy had and everything are going to be very helpful too. You know, we'll do a 20, 15 minute, and then maybe once a month, and we won't YouTube these. Everybody can come forth with something that they want to present, you know.
I think,
that,
yeah, I was thinking, Craig. Yeah, I was thinking like you talk about learning a lot. I think what is like dream analysis, and I think, like I said, it's priceless. You know, you have to pay a lot of money to do dream analysis, and the very fact that we can actually do it here, like, you know, we might not have 2-3 hours on one dream, but still, I mean, I learned quite a lot. Like my progress is so like boom, because I've been doing a lot of reading, all the books and all of this stuff, but it's different. Like I have still these gaps, and I feel like I'm filling the gaps here. So I just feel like I sort of, so it's, for me, it's priceless, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
well, and you know what I think, yes, and I think that the aspect that shows to me that is the surprising beauty that after we work on these little, I mean, that's what I get out of it. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, both Charles' dream and Ivan's dream and I have a surprising, that's the aspect, it's the word surprising, an unexpected beauty to them that I was not expecting when I first heard it. No?
I think the most surprising part for me, at least, is that Jungian psychologist has not been doing this. Like, at least maybe, you know, I know they have been studying and they have to get paid and they have loans and so on, but I'm still surprised that no one has actually taken initiative. You know, we are talking about increase of consciousness. I mean, increase of consciousness, for me, it's priceless. You know, it's better than any money, because it is, or anything. It means you are alive, basically. You can, you know, you are more alive, and you know, we all die someday. But for me, I find it so surprising. If you have a way of being aware and you are not sharing it, for me, it doesn't make sense. At least, you know, that's my little critic. But yeah.
Well, they're too lazy. I'll just tell you, they don't care about it. I mean, that's really, they want to sit and talk about your problems for an hour and then have you pay them $160 an hour. You know, I would say that if you're not doing 30 minutes of serious dream work, which is hard, I mean, we're doing 90 minutes, okay, on usually 2 or 3 dreams. You know, that was one reason I left my analyst, is I thought I was doing a better job than he was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but you know, because I take these seriously, you know, I mean, I really do. And I think that what I might, what I really, I think the only thing I really have is a great appreciation for their profundity and their beauty, you know, and that's, I think is you know, is something that makes it enriching for me. But anyway, so we'll
Which
meet
one,
next Monday at 7, and then, you know, if you guys, the consensus changes, just tell me. I think it's a little better to leave that weekend open a little bit for the other thing, you know, because I think that's important too, especially when we're actually talking about really what it means to dialogue with those images. I think that we're getting somewhere there too. But anyway, I'll see you all next Monday at 7 then.
All right, see you then.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, Gary and Carolyn and Charles.
Thanks for
and Kevin
coming,
and I.
Carolyn.
Yes. Okay. See you all later now. Okay. Bye-bye.